ever meet.
By orders of magnitude more than anybody else. And the minute that I'll say it, you'll go, oh, no kidding. But the fact that you don't exactly demonstrates my point. And that's why evolution is so important.
I think the most dangerous person she will ever meet is another...
You're already off.
Okay.
Biological and evolutionary psychological lens to study human phenomena.
Before we get back to talking more broadly, just came to mind that with that context in mind, then cheating is justifiable.
Cheating in a romantic relationship?
Yeah.
So it depends what you, when you say justifiable, you're falling into the trap of if you explain it scientifically, it's okay. We also have a moral compass that's due to an evolutionary mechanism. So one of the difficulties of life is how to navigate through the Darwinian strings that are pulling me in different directions, right? I've evolved a desire to gorge on fatty foods. But if I do that in an unrestrained manner, I become a sumo wrestler and I die of heart disease at 42. So I've also evolved the mechanism of self-control. So women are Victorian chaste prudes. So now let me give you multiple lines of evidence that suggest that women are hardly the Victorian prudes that we might otherwise wish they were in a Victorian novel. You know when a woman is most likely to cheat situationally?
I know because I've read your work, so...
Okay. So I'll say it, or do you want to say it?
Well, it's when they're maximally fertile, isn't it?
Very good. You've done your homework. Yeah. So when they are maximally fertile is when they're most likely to stray. Now that strategy, by the way, and they're less likely to insist on contraception. You would think that if I'm cheating outside my marriage, I'm speaking as a woman now, if I'm cheating outside my marriage, I would want to increase the likelihood of using protection because I don't want to be pregnant. But if the strategy for why I'm cheating is because I'm shopping related issues. So the types of products that men and women use as sexual signals are astonishingly the same across cultures. So for example, owners of Ferrari are 99% male, even though there are 1 million women who have the resources to certainly buy a Ferrari, yet they don't. Oprah Winfrey is not stopped from buying a Ferrari because she can't afford it, and yet she's not doing it. In the human context, fancy cars take on the morphological feature of the peacock's tail. So all animals that are sexually reproducing use sexual signals. Humans, given that they're also a consumatory animal, will use specific products to signal, look at me, I'm better than Steven. The way that I do that is by hopefully demonstrating cues that I have higher status than you. Okay. Now, like about us or not like about us. Overwhelmingly, by the way, the number one universal attribute that women seek is anything that's related to social status, right? So in other words, it could be my ambition. It could be my assertiveness. It could be my social dominance. It could be literally the big diplomas I have behind my back. It could be the number of zeros behind in my bank. It could be how many cattle heads I have if I'm Hadza tribe. But in no culture has a woman ever said the following: give me a non-assertive, beta, meek man who has pear-shaped hips and a nasal voice, and I'm turning into a sexual frenzied animal. Those words have never been uttered in the history of humanity. Okay. But what women will say, by the way, it's not that they only look for rich guys, right? Because many women will be madly in love with the starving artist, but the starving art framework and apply it to consumer psychology, to psychology of decision making, which eventually is the field that I founded. So 2 examples. Example 1, and forgive me if I put you on the spot. It's worthwhile for that. What do you think is the number one predictor of there being child abuse in a home?
An absent parent.
Okay, very, very reasonable answer.
Yeah.
And so usually in lecture 1 when I'm teaching an evolution psychology course, I'll ask this question and I'll start putting all the students' answers. And they're all reasonable answers. If there is alcoholism in the home, if one of the parents had been abused in their past so that they mimic that behavior onto their children then. all reasonable. Well, what if and by the way, no one guesses what the real answer is. So then I say, well, guess what, guys? You just listed 25 reasonable predictors. The number one predictor is 100-fold more predictive than anything that's on that board. Recognition that not all of the mating attributes are equally desired by the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
So for example, no man has ever uttered the following words: Linda, you have a gorgeous body. I'm unbelievably sexually drawn to you, but you're not exhibiting the type of alacrity to improve your GPA score. And your lack of assertiveness in your studies suggests that I'm not going to have sex with you tonight. No man has ever uttered those words. But a lot of women meet a super hot guy at a club. He opens his mouth, and what comes out is retarded imbecility. And suddenly the sex opportunity has just shut down. So why am I saying all this? There are some traits that if men were to
meet
by orders of magnitude more than anybody else. And the minute that I'll say it, you'll go, oh, no kidding. But the fact that you don't exactly demonstrates my point. And that's why evolution is so important.
I think the most dangerous person she will ever meet is another.
You're already off.
Okay, I don't know.
Her husband.
I was going to say. Okay.
There you go.
I was very close because my brain went her future husband.
Right.
Because I was thinking in the courtship process, that's quite dangerous.
Right. So whether it be her long-term partner or prospective long-term partner, right? Okay. So to your point, a husband is the most dangerous, and then the overwhelming number